I'm Hayden Blackman, creative director and studio head at Hangar 13, and I wanted to thank you for coming out to see our Gamescom presentation of Mafia III, an open-world crime drama set in New Bordeaux, our version of New Orleans, in 1968, one of the most tumultuous years in American history. In Mafia III, you'll play as Lincoln Clay, an orphan and Vietnam vet who falls in with New Bordeaux's black mob. When the black mob is betrayed and slaughtered by the Italian mob, led by a guy named Sal Marcano, Lincoln becomes fixated on revenge. As Lincoln, you'll wage a brutal war against the Italians, disrupting the balance of power in New Bordeaux's underworld. Today we're going to jump straight into the middle of Lincoln's war with the mob and his attempts to build and maintain his new criminal family. We're going to start in the bayou and head for the French Ward. Let's take a look at just a few of the varied districts in New Bordeaux and what lurks beneath the surface and in the back alleys of the city. Our reimagined version of New Orleans is made up of 10 districts, each with its own distinct flavor. We have the scenic and mysterious bayou, which is ripe for exploration. But is also where the Italian mob and their allies run guns and produce moonshine. To the west of the city is vibrant Delray Hollow, which is home to Lincoln and his surrogate family before they are betrayed by the Italian mob. Eventually, the Hollow is taken over by the Dixie mob, who kick up to the Italians and use the neighborhood as the base of operations for heroin and sex rings. To the north of the city is majestic Frisco Fields with its manicured lawns and mansions. This is also where the Marcano family is partnered with the racist Southern Union and cooks PCP at the local university. And in the center of the city is bustling downtown, where historic buildings and plazas sit side by side with gleaming skyscrapers. But this is also where the mob's bookkeeper, Tony DeRazio, blackmails local politicians and scams the city through sham construction sites.
How did you manage to get to Tony DeRazio?
I had bugs and wiretaps all over the damn place. When that weirdo left the Royal Hotel to deal with one of his men, I was listening.
Tony, I didn't know you was coming. I'm just packing away your latest shipment.
How long you been running this business, Joe?
I know, 5, 6 years.
5 years, 3 months, and 18 days. Well, this is turned.
Look, I know I've been lied, but it ain't my fault.
I've always placed a premium on maintaining order. If you let the rot set in, eventually it will take hold and destroy everything you've built. The only solution is to isolate it, eradicate it before it takes hold. You understand, Joe?
Christ, Tony, you gotta listen to me. Some nuts out there shooting the hell out of everything. You know how many of my men he killed?
Yes. Dominic, is it? You will take the armored car and personally oversee the collection of all outstanding monies owed to us. Am I clear on this?
Yes, Mr. Razio.
Once you have collected what is due, deliver it directly to me at the hotel. The code to the elevator is 0451.
From there, Lincoln had a couple of options. He could use the elevator code and go into the lobby, which meant shooting the hell out of the place. Or he could steal Dominic's car and go in quiet to the hotel's parking garage.
Killing Tony is our focus right now, as capturing downtown will strike a major blow against the Italian mob. But before we go after Tony, we'll want to resupply, and we can do this by calling in our weapons dealer. Once the mobile store arrives, we can pick out the gear that will best suit our playstyle. As with most of the missions in Mafia 3, Tony can be taken out in many different ways. We can go in guns blazing, we can take a stealthier approach, we can even call in reinforcements. It's really all up to the player.
This is like Christmas morning, because I picked up some...
In this mission, we have two distinct ways to get to Tony, who's holed up in the penthouse of his hotel. We can storm the lobby or steal his bagman's car and sneak through the hotel's garage and up to the penthouse, which is the path that we'll take here.
Yes, we're good. Call me if you need me.
What's taking so long?
I give it a month. Give it a month. Here's for Dominic.
That's fucked up, man. I give him 6 months, at least.
Be some manners in all.
Pull on in, Dominic. Park anywhere.
Gone for a minute. Tony wouldn't mind.
Mr. D'Orazio. And how long have you been here?
Huh?
A month? Mr. D'Orazio ain't the second chance type.
Something's... Oh!
And you might just live to see month 2.
Some bitch running all over the goddamn place, smashing our shit to pieces. I want to know what the fuck's going on down there. You hear me?
It would be difficult not to.
What?
I've already taken the appropriate steps to address the situation. Believe me, things are well in hand.
Well, they fucking better be. If this thing with the judge goes sideways, shit's gonna roll downhill real fucking quick.
We haven't lost anything of any significance except for some men, and they can be replaced. In fact, they're the easiest thing to replace.
Saul doesn't give two shits about any of those stupid fucks. All he cares about is the people that matter. Understand?
I understand completely. And you have my word that all payments will continue as scheduled. None of our business associates need to concern themselves with our recent difficulties.
Yeah? Okay. I'm counting on you here, Tony. Don't fuck this up.
Goodbye.
You should clear on out of here.
Okay, here's the thing, Congressman. When Mr. D'Orazio made his very generous contribution...
Oh, shit. Right now? Okay. Okay.
You're getting past here, boy.
Certainly are audacious, aren't you? Filthy fucking...
Whoever you are, you made quite the mess of my operation. Do you have any idea what you cost me?
You really think you know how all this is gonna play out, don't you? Idiot! Go ahead. Kill me. I'll be replaced tomorrow. No one will even notice.
You're wrong. Everyone will notice.
War on the streets of our fair city as a gunman stormed the Royal Hotel, killing an untold number of men.
There was a loud crash, like a bomb going off. I looked up and there was a man falling from the top of the building.
Then all these men showed up and every one of them had a gun. They ran into the Royal and that's when the shooting started.
I still don't know how the hell Lincoln got out of that hotel.
And the weapons. The tools Mr. Clay used to terrorize the citizens of New Bordeaux. I suppose you furnished him with those as well.
Actually, no. Don't get me wrong, Senator. I would have given him any gun, knife, or bomb he asked for.
What can I do for you, Lincoln Clay?
But like I've said, Lincoln never had trouble finding a weapon.
And just how does he accomplish that?
Help me kill Sal Marcano.
For most of that summer, one of his underbosses, Cassandra, she ran the Haitian gang, looped him into a sweet little arms smuggling ring she had going. That kept him squared away.
There are stashes of guns hidden in this city.
Full-service operation. They aim to please. Pistols, rifles, shotguns, ammo, you name it. It was all black market gear, of course. I mean, this was a real arsenal. If the VC had been this well provisioned at Betrayal, the whole damn war might have turned out different. Extended clips, perfectly tuned sights, hollow points, silencers. By the time Lincoln finished tinkering with the firearm, it was a precision instrument of death.
Nothing like this had ever happened before. Lincoln wanted to terrify the mob. He wanted them to know he was going to kill every last one of them.
Then, Jesus, then when Burke came on board, things really kicked up another level. Explosives. Everything from Molotov cocktails to C4. You know, the stuff they use for controlled demolition, except in our case, not always so controlled.
There was a loud crash, like a bomb going off.
War on the streets as a gunman stormed the Royal Hotel, killing an untold number of men.
You know what the funny part is? The funny part is, Lincoln didn't really need half the shit to take down Marcano.
And the systematic killing of Marcano's capos and lieutenants?
Well, we weren't playing fucking patty cake. Christ. Fighting to him was like breathing. I've seen him bring a whole VC unit to its knees using nothing but his knife. I've seen him take apart an armored encampment from the canopy with a single-scoped combat rifle. Put a rocket launcher in the hands of a man like that, and those poor bastards never stood a chance. Even back in Laos when we were running guns. Hell, almost from the moment he stepped off the chopper, I remember thinking to myself, this man has a talent for violence.
There he is. How was the trip? This is the first time in 4 years and somebody telling me where to go, what to do, or how to do it. I'm ready to get my life back.
Welcome home, son.
Lincoln, your family owes the mob money.
How much?
Too much.
We murdered your family.
It's time for them to pay. It's gonna take all 4 of us to bring down the mob. This city belongs to me.
Hey everyone, I'm Hayden Blackman, creative director and studio head at Hangar 13. What you've just seen is our introduction to Mafia III, an open-world crime drama set in New Bordeaux, our version of New Orleans in 1968, one of the most tumultuous years in American history. In Mafia III, you'll play as Lincoln Clay, an orphan and Vietnam vet who falls in with New Bordeaux's black mob. When the black mob is betrayed and slaughtered by the Italian mob, led by a guy named Sal Marcano, Lincoln becomes fixated on revenge. As Lincoln, you'll wage a brutal war against the Italians, disrupting the balance of power in New Bordeaux's underworld, and ultimately creating a new crime family out of the ashes of the old by recruiting 3 underbosses, all with personal vendettas against Sal Marcano.
History tells me that giving you more guns might be unhealthy for me.
It's not like that. Not anymore. I'll see to it they get in the hands of the right people.
You're much too serious about all this. It takes the fun out of it. Besides, that's the worst that could happen.
You could get us all killed.
Aye, that I could.
I'll clean this mess up. No reason for you to stick around.
Remember our deal. I'm expecting a cut of everything you bring in.
Hey, I know how this shit works. You'll get your money.
There's Cassandra, the leader of the Haitian gang, who has been trying to get a foothold in the city for months. Burke, who was once loyal to Sal Marcano, but now wants to see him destroyed for his own personal reasons. And Vito Scaletta, who has been sidelined by the Marcanos and wants his piece of the action. Let's take a look at just a few of the varied districts in New Bordeaux and what lurks beneath the surface and in the back alleys of the city. Our reimagined version of New Orleans is made up of 10 districts, each with its own distinct flavor. We have the scenic and mysterious bayou, which is ripe for exploration. But is also where the Italian mob and their allies run guns and produce moonshine. To the west of the city is vibrant Delray Hollow, which is home to Lincoln and his surrogate family before they are betrayed by the Italian mob. Eventually, the Hollow is taken over by the Dixie mob, who kick up to the Italians and use the neighborhood as the base of operations for heroin and sex rings. To the north of the city is majestic Frisco Fields with its manicured lawns and mansions. This is also where the Marcano family is partnered with the racist Southern Union and cooks PCP at the local university. And of course, in the center of the city is the historic French Ward, a constant party run by Sal Marcano's brother, known around town as Uncle Lou. But it's Lou who deals smack and provides high-class call girls to wealthy VIPs throughout the iconic district. Uncle Lou's operation is Lincoln's focus right now, as capturing the French Ward for his own underbosses will strike a major blow against the Italian mob. We can hurt Lou in many different ways, but here we've decided to go after one of Lou's pimps, Oscar Sabato, who provides Lou with thousands in cash every week. Before we go after Oscar and his crew, we'll want to resupply, and we can do this by calling in our weapons dealer, an associate who has been introduced to us by Cassandra. Once the mobile store arrives, we can pick out the gear that will best suit our playstyle. As with most of the encounters in Mafia 3, Oscar and his crew can be taken on in many different ways. We can go in guns blazing, we can take a stealthier approach, we can even call in reinforcements. It's really all up to the player. But in this playthrough, we've decided to use my favorite approach, which is going in a little quiet to kill Oscar and then fighting our way out.
You're not gonna find me eating that business.
All right, so we've killed Oscar Sabato, which is a major blow to Lou's cash flow, and will eventually put him into hot water with his brother Sal. But now we need to get the hell out of here.
You see that fucker?
Here you can see that one of Oscar's guys has made it to a phone and called in reinforcements. Fortunately, the player can call in a favor of his own from Vito, Muscle, to bust some heads.
I need Vito shooters near the ward.
Now that we've killed Oscar Sabato, we've cut Lou's earn by more than $10,000, bringing us one step closer to him. We want to keep hitting him where it hurts, but there are many different ways that we can do this. We can destroy Uncle Lou's drug boats, we can interrogate his pimps and dealers, we can rob his bagmen, we can even take over his drug den and brothel. Killing Oscar Sabato is only one of many ways to cut into Lou's action. Once Lincoln throttles Lou's ability to kick up to Sal, Lou trips up. In order to get back into Sal's good graces, Lou arranges a fundraiser for a crooked politician aboard one of his riverboats. Lincoln learns about this and sees an opportunity to kill Lou, one of Sal's most valuable capos.
What the fuck? Got it. We hit something. Ain't nothing for you to worry about. Let's get you upstairs. You all fan out. Watch the rest of the boat. This sure shit wasn't an accident.
Get your attention, please.
I think we're tilted a little.
Let us off this goddamn boat!
Please, just let us go.
If I could get your attention, please.
You gonna tell us what's going on out there?
There was a collision. We don't know the extent of the damage to the ship, but...
When are you going to let us off this goddamn boat?
But my crew is looking into it. If you can just stay right here in the casino, I'll have updates for you shortly. Thank you. The crew will provide instructions on how to make an orderly...
you whop, asshole!
What the fuck, Lou?
Take another step and he gets it.
You think I give a shit about some politician?
Please, I don't even know what's going on.
Hello, Lou. Listen, I got money. You can have it. All of it. Just don't kill me.
I don't want your money. I want you to send a message to your brother.
Yeah? Anything. Oh, just say it. Just say it.
Lord Almighty.
With Lou dead, the French ward is ours. And every time we take over a district in the game, Lincoln calls a sit-down to hand that district over to one of his underbosses to run the day-to-day. In this sit-down, we know that there's going to be a bit of drama, because in this particular playthrough, Lincoln has given a lot of territory to Cassandra while practically ignoring Burke.
You and I are on the line here, Lincoln, and I'm expecting good things. I don't give a flying fuck who has what rockets. This turf, it's mine, goddammit, and I won't accept anything else.
Gonna ask you to be patient, Burke, and give everyone a chance to weigh in on this.
I got no idea which way you leaning on this, and I get it, you two got history to call back on. At least one that didn't involve him trying to kill Sammy. But next time, I prefer you cool out with the games and just make the call.
Sorry Burke's all riled up. I know that's a fucking pain in the ass, but splitting this district up like you did just makes things worse. You gotta make a hard call here. And I hope it goes my way.
Do right by me or there'll be hell to pay, Chalky.
Trust ain't something that comes easy to me, kid. But I wish it did.
You give this to me, Ma Connor's gonna shit himself.
We talk about making money, but what it comes down to is respect.
I hope we can get things back on track, Burke, but we're not gonna do it with this part of the city. Vito's gonna call the shots there.
What a sad, miserable fool I am for ever believing in you. But there will be no more of my foolishness. The next time I see your black hide, it will be at the end of my goddamn gun.
You and Burke have history. People between you. But you gotta forget all that and deal with this. Quickly.
The Mick is gonna be a problem. Until he ain't. Understand?
If Burke can't fall in line, ride things out when they don't go his way, then he's not the partner we need. I'll deal with him.
What you're about to see won't happen for every player, but because of the choices we've made in this playthrough, Burke has decided to betray Lincoln, forcing Lincoln to confront him on his home turf.
I see a river overflowing.
So there's your look at Mafia 3, coming out on October 7th for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC.
So we looked at New Orleans and figured out what were the things that people remember of those locations, and the landmarks, the points of interest, the culture, and we wanted to bring that to our version of it, but we didn't want to be confined to the real lay of the land, and we wanted to be able to bring things that make games exciting. So the thing about making 1968 authentic for New Bordeaux is not just what happened in 1968, but everything that preceded 1968. For example, when you're listening to the radio, you're hearing everything from the 1960s, the 1950s, the 1940s. The same can be said for the architecture of the world as well. You're dealing with things that have existed for the past century. So with this historical context of what happens in New Orleans and what happens in our version in New Bordeaux, we're able to weave that into the background history of each neighborhood that the player is going to encounter.
New Orleans is an old city. There's stuff from the turn of the century, for the 20s and 30s. You know, that's scattered around and people may not be aware of all of that stuff. We structure the city in a way that has you going out into these areas that are very, very unique, but then always in the flow of the game is driving you back through things that are more familiar and more accessible to the new player. What we're trying to do with the city is present this facade of this is New Bordeaux in 1960s and this is how it feels for the people that live there. And then the moment you turn down the wrong street, you see what the Mafia has done to the city and the sort of reality of that.
In Mafia 3, we wanted to really make sure that we were offering players a truly open world that is actually full of life. And by using all of these systems, instead of trying to script it or hand do every single thing, we're using these hand-done scenes and then employing them in a systemic way to kind of make sure that every player is seeing something different. And even a given player is seeing something different when they go to Canal Street the first time and the third time and the 17th time, because you know it's a big open world game and you're going to be going back and forth across the city, so we want to make sure that it always feels alive and present and different every time that you're seeing an area.
Our protagonist is a black man and a Vietnam War veteran in the Deep South in the 1960s. The combination of our character and our setting is going to inform everything the player experiences, from high-speed car chases to what happens when they walk into a convenience store. So right away that tells you that the relationship between the player character and the game world is going to be unlike anything realized to date in an open world game.
Welcome home, son. Your family owes the mob money.
How much?
Too much.
He murdered your family.
It's time for them to pay. This city belongs to me.
Lincoln can earn money in a variety of different ways. Everything from just taking out individual gangsters, you'll kind of get a money boost from that, to actually the process of unpicking the crime ecosystem in the city. Districts in the city are built up of criminal rackets. As Lincoln takes those down, he gets tip-offs on high-value targets.
You can interrogate people that will tell you where a different racket is storing all of its money. And so you can go after that one specific place where everyone's stashed the money for the racket. And if you take that down, you'll get a huge amount of money.
One of the great ways to make more money is by recruiting racket bosses. If you've wiretapped that district enough, you're given the option whether to kill or recruit that racket boss. And if you kill that racket boss, you get, a lower amount of money. But if you recruit that racket boss, you make a larger amount of money over a certain period of time. And so it really incentivizes recruiting as many racket bosses as you can instead of killing them.
The hideouts themselves then start to generate earn. So over time, you get access to more and more cash, and this allows Lincoln to upgrade his fleet. He can upgrade all of those vehicles, he can add performance to them as the game progresses. There's different types of weaponry in the game that Lincoln can gain access to as well, ever more powerful stuff. Basic supplies, which you'll call in through one of the other services, your arms dealer. Things like grenades and C4. As Lincoln goes through the game, obviously picking up money, he stores it in his wallet, but if you were to die at some point, then you would lose a significant chunk of that cash. So we have a service through one of the Underbosses, and this is called the consigliere. So you can kind of call this driver in who comes and picks up money from you and then stores that in a safe location. So you want to keep doing that throughout the game so that you make sure when you die you're not going to lose all of your money, because that could be potentially quite a big hit depending on how long you've been stashing it for.
I understand that Lincoln Clay's action was the result of a vendetta against Sal Marcano. But why did the pursuit of that vengeance lead Mr. Clay to unleash violence and destruction throughout the entire city?
But Senator, that's the beautiful part. Sal owned New Bordeaux, so Lincoln could treat the whole city as one giant target. Men with power like Sal Marcano, they think they're untouchable.
I don't have it in me to feel shame for the things I've done. Never have.
What they don't want is for you to start picking at the loose threads at the edge of their empire. Disrupting the drug market from the street up. Robbing back alley heroin dealers in the Hollow. Or shooting up the PCP labs tucked among the high society in Frisco Fields. They damn sure don't want you infiltrating their safe houses and extracting valuable information from their low-life lieutenants.
So you want a doctor? Then you better tell me something worth hearing.
They tend to get annoyed when you start hunting two-bit pimps through the French ward one by one. Terrorizing old Uncle Lou Marcano's well-paying Johns, and grinding the flesh trade in the city's bordellos to a crawl.
Came in and killed everybody.
They definitely don't want you to keep pulling the thread till you're shooting up the casino boat that chugs through that muddy bayou.
I want you to send a message to your brother.
Pull enough thread and the whole operation starts to fall apart.
Should have saved a bullet or two.
You muscle in on Enzo Conti, interdict all that lost cargo that fell off the car in a train yard somewhere in Barclay Mills, the guns, the cars, the human beings. You choke off every single black market pipeline that keeps the Marcano empire afloat.
Lincoln Clay! Lincoln Clay! Every lowlife ball of piss in this city smells blood in the water. My blood!
Then, and this is the absolute last thing they want, is for you to start building your own thing on the same spot where you tore theirs down.
Once it's in our hands, I'll decide who gets to run the day-to-day.
Men with power like Sal Marcano never understand how quickly they can lose it. But once you've unraveled enough thread, you take all that thread you got and string them up with it.
Did you help Lincoln Clay murder Sal Marcano and all prominent members of his crime family?
You're goddamn right I did.
Hold my head, ooh baby, it's a long way down to the bottom of the river. Hold my head, ooh baby, it's a long way down, a long way down.
Marked the largest number of casualties in the ongoing conflict.
If you get sleep, or if you get night,
Do this quiet. Away from here.
and check the cupboard for your daddy's gun.
The righteous will rejoice when he sees the vengeance.
The Lord's gonna come for your firstborn son.
Nothing you do will bring any of them back.
Go to the river where the water runs.
It took me months to figure out that Lincoln had survived the massacre and was waging a war against Sal Marcano.
I'm curious, Mr. Donovan. How exactly did you amass such a detailed knowledge of New Bordeaux?
Like I'd tell any of you assholes.
Mr. Donovan!
Look, New Bordeaux's more than an outline on a map. It's a collection of districts, cultures, people. My job was to listen and observe, identify the relevant target, provide Lincoln with a blueprint. He did the rest.
Could you give this committee an example of what you mean?
Yeah, all right. Take Delray Hollow, where Lincoln grew up. The hollow's filled with pride, hope. But beneath that is a layer of fear, of anger, with a sense you gotta scratch and claw for everything.
The fuck are you?
Frisco Fields. Manicured lawns, perfect smiles, southern charm. Thing is, it's all a show, a facade. Just because the knife comes out of a monogrammed sleeve doesn't mean it won't cut your throat. The French ward. home to every fantasy and perversion you can imagine. But if you're not careful, those appetites will come back around on you. Be the very thing that kills you. Bayou Phantom. It's beautiful down there. Serene even. But it's also vicious, wild, unpredictable.
Ah, yes. Pint for done. A proud people, the Irish.
The entire district runs on whiskey and rage. People up there never back down. Never. On the surface, South Downs looks like a nice blue-collar neighborhood. Safe. Friendly, even. It's all a cover, though. Cover for violence and lawlessness. You could almost mistake Barclay Mills and Tickfaw Harbor for normal American industrial zones. But in order to do that, you'd have to ignore all the brutality and workplace accidents. Downtown, the prosperous heart of the city. Concrete, steel, the wheels of government, and greasing the whole thing is an endless stream of graft and corruption. Then there's River Row. Whole damn district's just one never-ending knife fight.
This is all very poetic, Mr. Donovan, but it doesn't explain
how Lincoln Clay took down the entire city in the summer of '68. He did it by mastering the one thing everyone in New Bordeaux understands. Power.
So Mafia III, we're trying to achieve something we call Hollywood action driving, which is this feeling that you're pretty much a stunt driver in a Hollywood movie. It's very much inspired by 60s driving movies like Bullet. It's this feeling that you're really good at driving, but you're still sitting in a real car, and that car has mass, it has inertia, it's actually correctly modeled. It's created by designers that have degrees in this kind of engineering. So as you're sitting in this car, you feel like this thing has weight. You can use it to drift around corners, to slam into things. And even as you're driving around the world, which has different surfaces, you might be in the bayou with like wet dirt, you might be on gravel, you might be on asphalt, all of that actually affects the car, and you can actually feel that seep into the way you're driving.
We come in with this philosophy of all the cars you should be able to get in and immediately be able to kind of like get to grips with them. But then there's a level of mastery as well. After 5 to 10 minutes, you're really starting to get to grips with the car and push the car to its limits. You're really able to go around the streets of New Bordeaux really quickly, power sliding around corners. You're getting that whole Steve McQueen movie feeling, which is what we really want. Each criminal racket within Mafia 3 is made up of various differing objectives. All of the open world activities in the game and quests and missions are all linked to the main narrative of this criminal racket. And the player picks and chooses which ones they want to complete in order to do enough damage to that racket, lure that hideout boss out to defend his turf, so to speak. In reference to our sort of construction yard racket, Lincoln can shake down foremen who are overseeing the construction project in order to get more information out of them of how this racket is working. That in turn will unlock other missions that Lincoln can partake on.
We've put a lot of work into actually modeling the way the mafia operates and how it kind of seeps into the foundations of a city. There are bosses who are running different parts of the city, and they all have specialties. They have like these big front businesses that they're using to launder money, run whatever illicit things that they need to do.
Each of the rackets are protected by these enforcer characters throughout the world. So these guys are sort of the muscle that oversee the operation for Sal Marcano's guys.
Once you take out these guys, you're going to do actual damage to the operation because it's going to run much less smoothly. So because every player story is unique in our games, we don't dictate that you take these guys out, but they're big targets and you probably want to go after them.
The enforcers that Lincoln has not taken down at that point will actually fall back into the hideout, in turn making that hideout much, much harder to sort of take on. The player is incentivized to go around the open world and actually take on these guys in their own turf, destroy them where they are rather than facing them at the end, where they could increase the scope of the hideout and the challenge of the hideout exponentially.
Fast cars and shine. What's not to like? Things are already looking up.
Pre-order now to receive exclusive vehicles and weapons.
Thomas Burke heads up the Irish mob, and they're based out of a section of the city called Point Verdun. After Sal betrays Lincoln and kills Sammy and Ellis, he knows that he needs more than just Cassandra's help, so he contacts Thomas Burke.
He's just a really fun character. He's just got a crazy mouth on him. He's spent kind of his life drinking and indulging in every kind of vice you can imagine. And at the same time, it's kind of left a toll on him personally and professionally. One of the side effects of that kind of got him into hot water with Sal Marcano.
Because of this, he needs to be punished. So Sal sends in a guy named Roman the Butcher Barbieri, who takes a crowbar to Burke's left leg and permanently cripples him.
Burke is kind of at the lowest point of his life right now. His son was murdered, he doesn't have any territory any longer, and he's feeling pretty impotent. When Lincoln comes along, there's an opportunity to get some payback and also get a little bit more of that power that he used to have before.
Ever since then, Burke has been basically looking for a way to kind of get back at first at the good side of Marcano, and then eventually when he realizes that that's not going to work out, he just wants to take him out altogether.
And part of that is exacting a horrific revenge on the Butcher. In fact, that's contingent upon him agreeing to assist Lincoln. When it comes time to deal with the Butcher, Burke wants to handle that himself. Vito Scaletta was actually exiled to New Bordeaux after the events of Mafia II. It was basically the deal that Leo talks about, is that he's not going to have Vito whacked, but Vito's going to have to move somewhere where he really doesn't want to live. And as part of that, Sal is forced by Leo and the commission to give Vito a section of New Bordeaux. What he does is he gives him a section of the city called River Row. It's not glamorous, it's probably the most dumpy part of the city, but Vito's willing to go there and basically scratch out a living.
Sal wasn't at all happy or interested in Vito coming to work for him, but basically out of respect for Leo, he took him in and gave him a district.
Things come to a head, and basically Marcano is going to finally whack Vito, and Lincoln saves him. So for Vito, the deal is he's an old school mob guy. He believes in honor. So the fact that Lincoln saved him is a plus in his book. Like that's something that needs to be repaid. So that's part of the reason he's willing to go along with it.
Vito knows, being an old school mobster, that this is the way business is done. You go with a strong person, and Lincoln is clearly the one who is going to be able to go after Sal and be able to take over the city.
I'll clean this mess up. No reason for you to stick around. Remember our deal. I'm expecting a cut of everything you bring in.
Hey, I know how this shit works. You'll get your money.
So by teaming up with Lincoln, Vito feels that he can finally achieve what he's always wanted to do, which is to run a city, or at least be a participant in running the city.